Welcome back, listeners. This is episode 2 of Changing the Game. This week we are extremely lucky to have John Novak with us to talk about sports psychology. John has over 3 decades of experience in speaking, lecturing and motivating people from all walks of life. He has an inspiring background with 3 academic degrees, a 3rd Dan black belt, and he's also defeated Drago from Rocky IV in a karate tournament. He works closely with all team members, coaching and support staff to develop a positive, resilient and mentally tough team that bounces back and achieves their potential. He's successfully helped gold medalist Olympians, top entrepreneurs and elite team sport athletes conquer the psychological part of the game with his boomerang effect principles. One of the most entertaining, interesting and brilliant people we've ever listened to. Get ready to laugh whilst learning from one of the best in world sport about the mental side of the game. A very warm welcome, John Novak.
Okay, mate. So obviously, John Novak, fantastic to have you here. It's
pleasure.
Liam and I had the pleasure of seeing you over in the Australian Institute of Sport. Well, really impressed by you. So we thought we'd get you in. Massive part of the game is the psychology side of the game.
Yep.
And we know you can make a big difference there. You've done made a big difference in a number of sports. Would you mind just sharing with us what you've done very briefly in a nutshell, and we can get into it, what you're
Wow. It's a big
nutshell.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a big nutshell, and I suppose where do I start? Easiest way, 37 different sports now, because 37 was my last sport, it's fencing. So I've got 3 national fences right now that I'm working with, and it's funny, and rhythmic gymnastics and 10-pin bowling and table tennis. It's got nothing to do with the sports that I've played, and I've played football, and I played for Sydney United as a kid, up to under 18s as a 15-year-old kid, and I've experienced an NRL or rugby league when I played it, but my sport is martial arts, karate, so 3rd Dan black belt in that, and did that most of my life, and loved Bruce Lee, and went wah! and all that stuff, and I don't want to say shit, so anyway, I did a lot of martial arts, and all those other sports, there was a common thread, and the common thread was mind. So in those sports, like my Commonwealth Games gold medalist Melissa Wu, I don't know anything about 10-metre platform diving, but I know how to, in one moment, go, yeah, and I know how to kick really fast, or I did, not at my age anymore, but I know what the delivery mechanism is from your heart, from your spirit, from your emotional center, and from your psychology. So I've learnt through the sports I've been associated with, and I've got multiple opportunities to develop the craft and my skill set. And my background, I suppose the thing that gave me the most information or educated me about performance and excellence of mind is my martial arts. That's what I hang my hat on, that I learned psychology through being a 3rd Dan black belt, having 3 karate schools, doing it for 20 years, representing the state on 12 occasions in New South Wales at national championships. The disappointment, missing a world championship under the most gravest circumstances. All of these things taught me how to lose, how to get back up, how to commit, how to prepare, how to be explosive in a moment, how to bounce back, and to be totally immersed in the now. So is there enough there? I don't know.
It's a nutshell. It's a nutshell.
That's a big nutshell.
It's a big nutshell.
My apologies.
That's all right, mate. It's brilliant. Obviously, the Socceroos played last night.
Yeah.
And that's something I know you're
Can we talk about that?
We can definitely talk about that.
Wow. I'm just blown away. As I said to you guys before we started today, I've watched football in this country for 50 years.
Yeah.
Like being a ball boy for Sydney United, first grade team, first division team, and watching some guys who've been in World Cups, and Ron Corrie in particular, one of our great goalkeepers, historic goalkeepers, and being involved in football in so many different ways, as a ball boy to a player, to an observer, to being in a sports management school and having Les Murray on the board and knowing him well and what he wanted for football in this country. to watch last night the progress of this country, to see guys go out there and compete against the best. And when they just, I wrote these 2 words down that I wanted to share, when they suspended belief for a moment, or not suspended belief, where they gave themselves an opportunity to succeed, and they didn't limit their own limitlessness in any way by looking at the reputation of their opponent. When they didn't look at the reputation of the opponent and they just played the space, we're as good as anyone in the world. I actually believe that now. I think we can do anything. And what particularly stood out for me, because all the talk before that game was, oh, well, France was the most expensive team in the world, billionaire team. But when you face Denmark, you're going to face the best team. And we outdid, in my opinion, the best team. That's huge. Did we win? No, but we won. That was a win. That was a win in so many different ways for the evolution of a sport that's had great players over the last 50 years. And 5 or 6, I don't know the exact statistics, World Cup appearances. But to do that in a quality and in an assiduous, determined way, that to me was, we're in another galaxy now.
So, something you said off air, it was pretty interesting. You said, they always talk about, we got to believe. Can you elaborate on that? Well, why do you think that's sort of an empty phrase? Why just believe in yourself?
Yeah, I think in sport we've got to the point where, like in my job as a sports mind coach. Well, I shouldn't say that because I also do business and education. As a mind coach, everyone seems to, in my job, know everything I do. It's really good. I really like that because everyone's got a comment, because I work with so many different athletes in so many different sports, and they know their shit and they know everything about everything, but their kid's not doing it. Or someone's playing in the A-League and a player, and I've got a couple of people I work with, one I can talk about definitely, and it's just not happening. Do you believe is the first port of call. Are you really believing? And you feel like saying, get the focaccia out of here, man. Of course I believe. I train. I have 10 sessions a week. I'm committing. My ass is being smashed around. My legs are killing me. The coach hasn't got me on. I'm there. I'm present. I'm there. I believe. What more do you want me to do? It's one of those throwaway statements. And what actually belief to me means that you do the little things well consistently. That you present a woo energy if it's required, or you present a real calm certainty when it's required, and it doesn't matter what happens, you back that up over and over. And when the going gets tough, you get better. I don't hear anyone elaborating on the term. It's belief, 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 belief. Did you really believe? You feel like slapping him in the face. Do you say that one more time? I'll slap you in the face. I'll slap you on the ass. Don't say that. Because it's so insignificant what someone's saying. It's like the other one that I really dislike, and I'll put the two of them together, is when someone says, are you really present? Are you in the now? Where would I be? Of course, I'm in the now, but this cracks me up, and I'm going to give it a drum roll. When someone says, I'm a confidence player. A confidence player? Really? Does that mean, you know what that means? Like I don't know what you think it means. We're confident when I play well. I don't care whether you're confident when you play well. Are you confident when you don't play well? Correct?
Yeah, good point.
Are you confident when you don't play? In other words, do you still believe when someone takes the ball from you? That's why I'm putting confident and belief together. Yeah. Because confidence and belief are one. Do you back yourself? Do you back yourself when someone's taken the ball off 2 times? 2 times from you, back to back. Does that mean now the game's gone, I'm a confidence player? Well, you shouldn't be confident. You just lost the ball. No confidence. So it's a stupid saying, and it's a stupid thing. And any commentator, so-called aficionado, when they use that, to me, tells me they're ignorant. Because they don't actually know what goes into the mindset of an athlete that needs to go at it and go at it and go at it and go at it. And the game is, let's face it, it's 90 minutes multiplied by 60 seconds per each minute. That's 5,400 5,400 seconds of going at it. One moment at a time. And in each second there's a contest. Are we going to win this contest? The next contest? The next contest? And for me, it's always about tick, one, lost. Tick, one, tick, tick, tick. Oh, we're going well now. Loss. Tick, 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 tick. Possession of ball. Great defence. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, mistake. Cross for that moment, but bounce back next moment. So for me, confidence is built on belief and trust and faith and being able to back yourself after the moment that you got the cross.
Yeah.
So when you say you're a confidence player, when you do it well, what about when it doesn't go well? Again, it means nothing. It's a vacuous statement that is absolutely meaningless. I needed to get that off my chest. Thanks, God. Now I'll chill. I'll absolutely chill.
It's perfect because
okay now.
It's just that digging into what we say as coaches. Like we use the example all the time for physical work is people using ladders and SAQ, and basically people, for me, coaches see other coaches do it, so therefore they do it.
Yes.
Or coaches hear people say those words, so I've got to say it. But not enough people dig into actually what does it mean. You know, just accept that, well, they've said it, or they've done it, so I'm going to do it. And I think that's what we need to do more and more, is dig into what that means, and dig into how we can make that better, and question it.
Well, being in this sporting field or this space for nearly 30 years, there's no sacred cow for me. There is not one word that I haven't investigated, that I'll present or that I've been involved with, that is part of any kind of sporting lexicon of success that I haven't delved into. And I'm not saying I know the answers, but shit, I'll have a go. And I'll look at what everyone's saying in all different sports, of all different codes and all different coaches. I don't care what the academics say about it. I have 3 academic degrees, as you might have seen or are aware of, and one of which is a lawyer, a master's in politics, and I've really, and a BA in politics and history, and I've really, and philosophy. These are the things that interest me. These things don't mean anything. I get my knowledge from the best players and the best coaches in the world. I study them like I studied more than any of my degrees. So I study them daily. I'm listening to everyone talking about everything, and every statement that these people make is based on something much deeper. So why I think it's important to look into the sacred cows or the cliches is because some of it makes sense, but it needs to be elaborated on, and they don't stand alone. Belief doesn't stand alone. Belief, if someone keeps going at it and keeps going at it and then gets frustrated and then loses their shit, are they any less believing? No, they just don't know how to control their emotional intelligence. Whatever it is stems from something else, and it's all, as you'll see, the boomerang effect is an interconnected process of thinking of the best strategies in the world based on positive psychology, if you don't mind me saying so, and Buddhism. So when you put the two of them together, positive psychology has only been around since the year 2000, and since 2000, before that, all we looked at is psychology as a dysfunctional thing, and you go to a psychologist with a problem, whereas now we're using psychology to see their strengths of people and to pump the strengths of people and to work on where are they at their best. And then Buddhism is about the cup, the water and flow and knowing how to be filled with faith and trust in things that you don't know. So when you put those two together, this has enabled me to look at sacred cows, like the things that we looked at, a confidence player or a belief. What do those things mean? And how then do we create scaffolding to support those meanings? And then how are we accountable for those things? And then it makes it really tangible for an athlete. What do I need to do? I need to be positive. What does that look like? Yeah! Up. What does it look like in your face? Like I'm focused. Focus is important. So positivity and focus goes. Oh, what does it look like in your body? Up! How can I be positive, focused, and down? So there's a body that comes with... There's a body of purpose. So the body of purpose is up. My eyes are locked in. I'm positive going, yeah, baby, I can do this. We will do this. I can, we will. I can, we will. We say affirmations. Oh, affirmations! Affirmations, faith and trust, body. And then as coaches, we can simply go, his body dropped. If his body dropped, that means his language has dropped. If his language has dropped, his emotions dropped. So get his body up, crack a smile and have a go. So we can actually intervene and assist them to improve performance. Just like that. Without saying the word belief. Makes sense?
Yeah. Well, actually,
does it make sense? Are we going somewhere?
No, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think it's a couple of things. First thing, you said you don't get a lot of information or knowledge from academics. You get it from studying the best people in the world, which I think success leaves clues, as people often say. And I think touching back on what we said about you don't have all the answers, but you have questioned many, many words. And again, I don't think the most successful people have the answers. I think they ask really good questions.
Yeah.
And I think asking those questions, like Leon said, elaborating on those things like, okay, a successful coach has said this word, but what does that word mean to me or to my players? And then asking that question, I think that's pretty powerful. I remember a point you made at half time in one of the games. You were talking about it doesn't really matter. Obviously, well, before the game, you're talking about if we do lose or we do lose some goals, that is when it starts. That is when you turn around to each other and go, this is it. This is the moment when we start to, this is what we've trained for.
Yeah.
We're 1-0 down, this is what we go, let's go. In case, instead of blaming each other and looking for what went wrong, it's a case of, now we step up, now we take charge.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, and it's such a simple mindset that you often overlook, and you just think, what did we do wrong there? How do we fix that? Which obviously has to be considered, but at the same time, the psychology of it, like, lads, you're going to lose some games. You're going to lose that moment or those moments in the first half, and they were behind. But now what? How are we going to react to that? Yeah. And I think the best teams usually do. Yeah. So I don't know what you...
I think the point, there's a lot of things that you said there that are important, but I think for someone listening this, and whatever way you're listening to it, the common thread is the now.
Yep.
And the now, we talk about bounce back and we talk about now. So why I think we need to spend 2 seconds on that is, if I get into this new now right here, it's half time. I need to spend some time going, what am I not doing well to rectify the situation? I need to focus on that. I can't just go, willy-nilly, doesn't matter what happened then, like, let's just go out there and be, woo, positive, woo, positive, mindlessly. Yeah. No, we reflect and we go, help, hinder. It helps staying up and positive, but it doesn't help pointing a finger. Okay, let's stay positive. It helps getting in the grind and competing deeply in every breath. Yes, it doesn't help hacking someone after they've passed us 3 times and giving away a stupid free kick where we could suffer as a result of another goal.
Yep.
So there are things that we need to discern and look deeply into. But on the field, let's go on the field now. If you're not in the now and you're pointing a finger, if you're pointing a finger, you're not in the now. Because you're pointing the finger because of what happened. And if you're still in what happened, you're not in the new now. The game's played in the now. Everything's in the now. The next moment is a planning based on this now of what's the best we can do then in the future based on creating a good platform. If I'm in the moment not creating a platform because I'm pointing at the finger at someone who should have done something back there, the next moment's gone.
Yep.
So it's now, and what underlies the now is acceptance. No acceptance, no now. Shit happens. It happens at every level. Mistakes are made. It's the team that understands that mistakes happen, but we are the team that best deals with mistakes. What's the best dealing with the mistake to nail the now in? Let's break it down further. In the now, there's a body, woo. There's a mind, yeah. There's an emotion, woo, or calm as and composed. And there's a spirit and faith of, I just trust in my brothers. That's what's in the now. Every breath of the 5,400 seconds, there is a mind, a body, emotion, and a spirit. And there's a combined mind and body, emotion, and a spirit. And when the unison's great for now and dealing with the best and dealing with the future and the best, you'll conquer Even teams that are above you ranked. Australia's ranked in the 40s, 14th in the world. What they did better was deal with the now. Reputation meant nothing. That's what we need to explain to the young kids or those listening, that if you can master the now and release the old, and how you know you release, you're not pointing a finger, you're not blaming anyone, you're going, I'm here, I've got your back. I'm here, I've got your back. Shit happens, let's do this. Let's do this as one. Now that can't happen if you didn't do the planning in preparation way before, in your strategizing. You know what, boys? It's not gonna go all our way. We've got a great strategy. We know how to beat this team. We know how to turn them around. We know how to take them out wide. We know how to thrust through. We know how to shock them. We know all that, but it won't always go our way. What we do as a result of that is a plan that you've practiced, and you practice as much as practicing a free kick. That's what the best coaches in the world do in different sports. That's what the Phil Jacksons do in NBA. That's what Pete Carroll does in the NFL. This is what they do. And they practice, and they practice, and they practice. This is what Steve Kerr does in the NBA. This is what the best do. This is available to every one of us right this second. But we need to combine our energies and then share that gospel. We have to learn it, share it, and not do belief. Oh, believe. Will you shut the F up? Believe. Confidence. Go in there confidently. I just lost the ball the 5th time. I'm not confident. Help me. Build bridges in their minds.
So a coach would ask the question probably immediately there, what kind of language can you use to not be, which could be regarded as just empty words of...
Well, you want to avoid the bullshit words, so what I would straight away go is, what is important for us? So you develop a language. So the boomerang effect's got a language. It's a whole language.
Yep.
So can I go through the 3 principles?
Please explain the boomerang effect.
Yeah. So the boomerang effect has been around in existence, incorporated as a business since now it's 11 years. 11 years that it's a business. But I've worked on my whole life on developing it, and when I look back on my notes, 20 years ago, parts of it were there when I'm looking at the presentations I've done. Yeah. So we finally, my wife and I as an occupational therapist, encapsulated all of it into one sentence, and that is the golden rule. Words, thoughts, and actions. Always positive. No exceptions. Every day, in every way. 24/7. On! Woo! Quickly said. Words, thoughts, and actions. Always positive. No exceptions. Every day, in every way. 24/7 on. Words, thoughts, and actions. So my words are positive.
Yep.
My actions are positive. Words, thoughts, and actions are positive. So you've got to make a deal. So it's like you say to your boys, let's make the deal today. You shake hands with them and you go, the deal is nothing that isn't positive goes through our minds, or we never say it. So it's a no-go zone. Any negativity is a no-go zone. You make the deal. Why? Because the second principle, what you put out is what you get back. Pointing the finger is dumb. You want me to make it any plainer? It is stupid to point a finger at someone else's error because you make errors. As we say, point 1 at yourself, 3 comes back at you. So, words, thoughts, and actions, always positive, no exceptions. Why? What you put out is what you get back. And then the third principle is help or hinder. Every moment is a choice. So there you are, making these choices on a paddock, and you're just about to chop someone's legs down. Help or hinder. It's 5 meters out from the box, and you know that the striker can curve the ball around it. It suits them. So it doesn't matter where you put the wall. Someone's going to go around that wall or over the top of it, as Ronaldo did against Spain. Against Spain. Beautiful. It was just beautiful. And they jumped, and it shaved the guy's head. Help or hinder doing it there? Well, I didn't really think about it. Okay. So when you can think about it, do you think it helps or hinder taking someone down in the box? Well, it hinders. Don't ask me a stupid question. Well, don't do it. Does it help or hinder yelling at someone on the paddock in your own teammate? I don't know. He needs a serve. No, you need a serve. Because we shook on the deal. What doesn't help, we don't do. So never will we do anything negative. So these 3 principles, words, thoughts, and actions, always positive. What you put out is what you give out. Help and hinder. Help and hinder. These 3 things. You walk around with these. Then you put the language in. You put the language, you check. Is it positive to say, you can do this? Yeah, tick, that's good. We can do this. Yeah, tick. Our day, our time. Yep, that's positive. See, as a group, you come up and you go, what's positive, what's not? So I've made lists of these up for different teams and working with coaches, but there's no one answer to them. Remember I said I don't have all the answers, but does it support the 3 principles? What do you pull out by calling out to someone, you always do that? Help or hinder?
Hinder.
Right. So you ask the team at the end of the game when you do a review, not maybe in the sheds, but when they come in on they come into training on Monday. Okay, we're reviewing the game. I heard this language, this language, this language. Let's just go through help and hinder just for a second. Did that help or did that hinder? And then they go through, that hindered. Okay, well, when you said that hindering thought, what you put out is what you get back. Bad boomerang. Oh, bad boomerang. Bad energy. So that next 5 minutes, we didn't actually bounce back because we were in the previous moment. We were actually in a shit state, hammering each other, arguing amongst ourselves, and they scored the second goal against us. Moments gone. Why? Because we're not in the now. We're not saying the right things. We don't realise our energy and our connection is impacting on them. So we're actually gifting them the game by us losing our stuff, not having the right language, not presenting. When you get scored against, we always simply present up. Now the work starts, as you rightfully said. I always present up. Make the deal. If a team understands one thing, that their body language sends a message, and we have 5,400 seconds of body language up, you challenge them with one thing. You keep your body language up today, and I don't care what the score is, we're going to smile today. Why? Because finally they've taken control of one element that's totally in their control, their space. If you can't control your space, your body, how are you to control your opponent? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm really getting pumped, don't I? I need to chill again.
Good.
Chill. Is it practical
That's
enough
brilliant.
for you?
Absolutely brilliant, mate.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to mention that you brought up was talk about the mindset. You talk about you have to learn it. You have to take it on board in whatever way. But I think people overlook the fact that you have to practice it as well.
Yeah.
So in terms of practicing it, it's something I'm sure Leon's interested. I'm really interested, and there's coaches listening, even players listening. What are some strategies that coaches can use, players can use to practice this sort of thing?
Yeah.
So it's not something that just comes overnight. Or I listen to you for an hour.
Yeah. So the biggest inroad I've made with professional teams, the 3 grand final teams I've been associated with, 1 win, 2 seconds in NRL, where we made the biggest inroads was in our practice and preparation. So the language that we used at training vastly changed. So the way we communicated with each other was consistent with the golden rule of positivity. Everything we said was positive at training. So you can't have shit talk at training and then expect everything's going to be perfect when you get out there. So you need to practice exactly how you talk to each other. Yes, here, good, that was fantastic. The encouragement, the language, the volumes of what how you're going to communicate needs to be exactly, if not more. So in martial arts practice, when we're training, we're hitting harder, because then when we get to the event, this is nothing compared to what I did. So we do it better in practice. So your language is exactly the same. Your body language is exactly the same. Your faith and trust in, I'm trying things, and then I'm practicing how I bounce back. So I'm practicing something, a term that I want to spend a little more time on today in our session on best self, what that means to project your best self. We're practicing that. So all of the work comes from practicing in the way that is world class. Like I say world class because my athletes are world class, or in NRL that's only here, but my athletes at the elite level of other sports in diving and swimming and cricket, they're world class athletes. So what they're doing is pinnacle. What would the best of the best of the best be doing? And then I'll tell you one thing's for certain. If you looked at, say, let's look at another sport outside football for a moment, and then come back to football, is Roger Federer doesn't have an emotional explosiveness, big explosion, till he wins. And then it's like, he goes rubbish. So up until then, he stays stoically on. He's there, he just hits, and then he'll make adjustments to the way he's training. That's playing. That all is based on how he practices. And his mindset. His mindset, when you look at it carefully, it's, I practice on my strengths because whatever happens, if whatever happens, I will go back to my strengths. The way I play my game is to my strengths. And you'll say, but he's strong everywhere. No, there's some things that he's not as strong as. Nadal is definitely better on top spin over the ball. The ball goes more revolutions with Nadal, with his 11 French Open wins, than Federer. So that is not his strength. But his strength is serving volley, playing off the back, tucking deep. There's things that he does that he practices that way. What he practices in his mind all the time is things like affirmations. The greatest progress I made with some of the biggest Islander boys, we're talking 6'5", 120, 135 kg, our biggest player. We got him on an affirmation. I am here for my brothers. I am here for my brothers. I am here for... Because it's not about him. It's always about the face of the others. Yep. So he does everything for his brother. He did that. And when he did that for the first time in a game, he came man of the match against Parramatta. So this is Bulldogs against Parramatta. Man of the match. I asked him, how many times did you say it, mate? And he said, Johnny, I lost count after 100. So you train your affirmations, you train your visualizations and imagery. So you're training the way you talk, you train your verbal triggers, how we communicate, and then we train mistake and bounce back. Is that enough of an example? Yeah. I can go further.
Go as far as you like, mate.
But is that the kind of... Because that to me is the rudimentary answer, and it took a long time, but then I'm working on the player preparing himself to train in the right way.
Well, that question was going to be actually about...
Does that make sense too?
No, that makes sense. That's what my kind of segues into my next question, was pretty much how... I mean, all that stuff you're saying to me sounds so interesting, and I can know a lot of young players who are involved in the game, and it's probably the younger ones I find who struggle the most with that. Oh, I need the confidence, or they kick someone off the ball because they've lost the ball and they just feel like everyone's against them. And I feel like the generation's changed slightly at that younger age.
Big time.
Big time. So that's something you're going to...
Big time.
There's a word, obviously, the word buy-in gets mentioned a lot. So try to get players to buy into that, like affirmations, visualisation, imagery. Because if you go to any degree on sports science or sports psychology, or whatever it is, you're going to hear about affirmations and hear about visualisation, and there's studies that show time again. I think it was a basketball study that they had guys who visualised free throws or something, and they'd done more successful than the guys who just practiced them.
Yep.
So there's clearly a massive evidence. Massive evidence.
Yes.
So getting that buy-in. So if you come across, if I was a coach and I had some players and I'm like, John, I need to hire you. Got these guys, and they just don't buy into it.
Okay.
So what's the kind of strategy?
Okay. So this is one of the biggest questions people ask me, particularly with. I would find it, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, anyone listening to you two guys, I would find it easier to do it in football than in NRL.
Yep.
Why? Because these guys look at a guy like me coming in and they go, who an F are you to tell us? But when they find out that I'm a fighter and I've got a kickboxing background, I get a little bit of respect. It changes their thinking process, because they go, bah! And they're the ones, they think no one else understands what it means to go, bah! And hit it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And then when you flip them out with that, shit, they realise that they're not the only ones who know how to hit. Like, people lesser weight, like I've been in the ring with lightweights, and I was middleweight as a fighter at 79, 78, and they can hit, and they can hit hard. So it's all you're dealing with here is perceptions. When you get past the perception, when people understand that you've done something really, really well, I'm not a psych. My degrees are not in psychology. Mine are my energy transference. I know exactly why and what I'm doing. I made a comeback at 33 to 30 and 38 and practice all of this stuff. The boomerang effect principles are based on going out and practicing visualizations, writing exactly what I need to do, knowing exactly how I'm going to deal with everything that happens, a plan on everything, and going out there and executing and practicing hitting hard bags over and over and over and over, and feeling wobbly legs, standing up on one leg and go, I got what it takes. I got what it takes. And sinking deeply into that energy that's going on like this. Teaching them how to do that. They get respect and buy-in when they know that you know something. People, and so the tougher audiences are NRL audiences, and I know 3 NRL audiences. So I've had hundreds and hundreds of athletes now I've worked with, and the buy-in is when they respect you. Why would they respect you? Because you're an athlete. I'm an old athlete. I don't do what you guys do. You're the technical experts. But man, I've done what I've done well. I fought one of the best fighters in the world and beat him. So you gotta get a buy-in. You know, I'm in the corner of fighters' rings. Why? Because I've got UFC guys I worked with. You gotta get buy-in. And you go, well, what's that got to do with me? Nothing. You're the expert. But what you don't know is how to control your mind. Because now you're not even open. You're not even open. Your parachute's closed. You jump out of an aircraft and go straight to the ground and go kaplonk. Because you don't even know how to be open. You're not even coachable. Because you know it, but you don't know it. You lose your shit. You don't know what you're doing. You've got faulty thinking. I'll tell you why you got faulty thinking. Because no one showed you any different. Let me help you. Are you ready to be helped? Or do you think your way works? You're the one cowering. You're the gutless one. I'm the one who fought in rings. What do you know? I know that you know technically, but you aren't consistently you. Let me help you be consistently you. Are you ready? That's why I've got the ears of great athletes. Because they're not an athlete. So that's how I get buy-in. I get personal. How does a coach get buy-in? Well, geez, if the athlete's not going to listen to the coach, you're in the wrong setting, man. Because you're not a superstar. The last time I checked, you're not Messi, and he's not in the World Cup anymore either in today's result. So everyone can learn. So number one, you got to be coachable. Sound familiar, guys?
Yeah, very familiar.
If you're not teachable or coachable, your parachute's closed. So this is the requirement from day one. You come into my space, coach, you need to be open. And I'm not telling you I know all the answers, but boy, I'll give you things that are going to help you. And if I'm not giving you things that are going to help you, I shouldn't be here. How does that sound? That was pretty passionate again.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Chill again. I'll just chill again.
I like the term, let me help you be consistently you. Like, I see that in players all the time, that I was never technically great at football, and I just look at players and I think,
yeah, let me help you.
If I can help you be consistently the best you can be,
yes,
then that becomes the best of you. Not see 5 minutes of you and see 10 minutes of you at a time.
Yes.
Let's see that over 60 minutes. So I think that's a term that coaches can use. I'm going to help you be consistently the best you can be.
Yeah.
Consistently. On that segue into that, John, good way to start talking about the best self.
Yes. So, well, that helps what you just said there, Leon, that for you to be the best you can, you have to be open. One. Before you can even start, what best self means is you got to be open to your own evolution. Why do you need to be your own evolution? Because of one word in the boomerang effect. That one word's written right up there. It's called limitless. So when we first met you guys and we were talking about stuff, and I said, I respect you all so much because you are no less or no more limitless than I am. So we're equals. You're not damaged goods or you can't do. I can't point a finger at you because you're limitless. And you're limitless. Let me help you get out of your way. Let me help you. And they'll go, how? Let's talk about your best self. That 5 minutes of magic that you're really good in 5-minute batches 4 or 5 times in a game. So you're good for 25 minutes. I need 60. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that together? Or are you going to tell me you know? Well, wait, don't tell me what you know. You've only got 25 minutes at the moment. I don't want 25 minutes. I want when the battle starts, you're there, front line, leading the charge, going, let me do the 1%ers. It's let me do it. Because you know how to do it. Because you understand best self. So that's the preamble before where I get. So my best self is 6 categories. 1, that my preparation is of a world-class nature. That everything I do in every component of me, and every component of me, as you say, in this whole program, it's a 24/7 me. It's a 365 days me. It's 168 hours me. It's all of me, all of the time, connected, aligned in mind, body, emotion, spirit, as we talked about.
Yep.
To actually get your mind, body, emotion, and spirit right, your preparation has to be right. So everything preceding the game is perfect preparation. And even perfect preparation will lead to loss. Everyone loses. Every team, as we've seen in the World Cup, the best teams lose. We're seeing it now more and more. Because all you need to do is get a bunch of people on the same wavelength and they'll beat a team top of the world, as Argentina went down. That was to Croatia today, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
To Croatia. Well, Croatia's not a bad team themselves. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? That if you get an aligned group of guys, boys or girls, who are seeing it together, who are getting their mind, body, emotion and spirit right with the right preparation, and there's that word now we can talk belief, that we believe as one in our message of doesn't matter what happens, we're up for this. Doesn't matter what happens, we can do this. Doesn't matter what happens, we've got what it takes. We will do us better than they will do them. That's the battle. Moment to moment, breath to breath. So, my preparation needs to be perfect, and I can go deeper into that. But let me just quickly go to the next one. Yeah, my mind needs to be right. I've got to be positive. I've got to trust. I've got all those things. I'll get into trust in a second. I've got to get the right affirmations prepared. Simple for the coaches. Get each of your boys or girls to have 3 words that they work from. What 2 words? Positive, strong, committed. Positive, strong, committed. Positive, strong, committed. So their mind, whatever happens in the paddock, you'll always say your go-to words through the whole game. And you check, like that NRL player who became man of match, are you saying them? 2, I'll get my body up and away, particularly when I'm fatigued. No hands down here, none of this business. Forward leaning, I'm present, and never let your opponent see that you're fatigued. I know as a fighter, if I showed them that I'm down, you're down, sucker. I can give nothing away because everything I present gives a message to my opponent. So you never look like you're down and out. Emotionally, totally in the pocket. My arousal level's not too high, not too low. We know that term, optimum arousal level. You can be too pumped, like I get, but then I bring it down. Yep. Woo! Down, down. So, woo! Down. So you can lift when you're down. Know how to work with your emotional states. You got to know how to get up. You got to know what to present to your opponent, so they always look like you're threatening. Like Denmark got overawed by our energy. Why? Because we just kept doing that. You keep doing that, you're going to mess with their heads. So that's understanding your emotional states. Not too elevated, not too low. Fight and flight, not too fighty. Definitely not retreating, but somewhere where you're optimally flow zoning. And that's another world, that's another presentation we'll do. Yeah. Spirit, faith, trust and belief. My faith, trust and belief in my best self is, remember a game where you just kept going at it. You kept going at it and you were down. It was 3-0. You brought it back to 3-1. And after 3-1, 3-2. And that day you believed. How would you believe? You're down. Isn't it? That's when because you're a confidence player. You're a confidence. You should be down and out. No. You believed in the unseen. What did you believe in? You knew that if you kept going, you'd win. You just knew it. That's a snapshot best self. Take that shot, and that's what we do all of the time. Because it's in you. You've got your muscle memory there. Nothing's going. You just need to activate that state when in preparation. So you need to play with the energies. And finally, the 6 categories, and I'll say them quickly together, is environment. Surround yourself, people. The 5 people that you talk to often are a true reflection of where you want to go.
Yep.
So, to review that, preparation perfect, best self preparation, best self mind, best self body, best self emotion, best self spirit, best faith, trust and belief, best self environment. Project that and it's woo! Boomerang. That's the energy. You do that 24/7, in all categories of your life. You do that 168 hours of a week, it's all interconnected, and you do that for 365, any kid who's listening, who's got a little bit of talent, and they're open with the parachute, could go places. I know it, I've seen it, I've seen kids represent this country in multiple sports doing this right. That's why I'm pumped. That's why I'm at the edge of my seat. That's why I'm excited to talk to you guys, as I said before we started, because there's people listening now, a couple of them will go, I'm close to all that, but I'm mishitting in some areas. That's where we get the framework right. We get the energy right. Because if you get it directed and channeled, all of these things, it can happen so quickly that it'll blow you away. You're so close, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, but you don't know why you fall off. Why you fall off, then that needs to be strategized. I'll take a breath, you'll ask a question, and we'll move on.
Well, I think again that moves on well to what I mentioned previously about 24-hour athlete mindset.
Yep.
Something that Leon and I and everyone else at KIKOFF talk about is they're with us for 90 minutes, 60 minutes, but when they're away from us, what are they doing? That is a question. So the psychology is a big part of it. The physical side of things is a big part of it.
Yep.
Is there something that you see in a lot of the athletes you work with that they do that makes them so great away from the training zone that others don't do?
So let's say that the 60 minute player is training with you guys 3 to 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. Okay, so so there's an 8 hour. So they're like semi-professionals, like professionals. An amateur player, a semi-professional player can go up to about 12 to 16 hours. Yep. They're getting a little bit money, like in shoot shield rugby in this country. You know, not only what people listening obviously in this country, but in any country, 16 hours on your sport and less, you're still putting in a good effort, really good effort. And some of them are doing extras in weights and stretching. Yep. So they might be up to 12 to 14 hours. Okay, so 12 hours, let's say it's 12, there's 168 hours in a week. And if it's a 12-hour training session, so we're talking that's 68, that's 6, that's 50. So there's 146 left. 146 hours. So the question you're asking is, what do you do there to give yourself the best chance of success in the 12? Simple answer, do your best self in every forum. I will elaborate, but I just need that moment of poise. Do your best. What does that mean? For the parents driving the kid there. So your best self parent would be when you drive and you come to a roundabout and someone breaks the law in front of you and they're wrong, you don't lose your stuff. Why? Because the little guy at the back, or girl, is listening to you lose it. And when they listen to you lose it because it's unfair, the referee was unfair. Referee is unfair. What are they going to do? Exactly what you did. Got out there and thumped them in the nose. Because they model us.
Yeah. You
want to see it is what it is. It's better this, son, stopping than not having an accident. It's better not going, referee, because the referee's going to look at you and go, you turkey, you've lost your stuff, I made the decision, and they're going to want to hammer you.
After that, yeah.
So what you need to do is get your life consistent and aligned for how you want to play the game. The game is the microcosm of the best of you for the rest of your life. The game is your life. So you do the game well, you do your life well. You do your life well, you do the game well. They're totally interconnected. So I always want to be positive. And I know that it's not going to go exactly as I want it all the time. And I will be physically challenged, I will be mentally challenged, and I'll be in hospitals, and I'll do things, and all this will happen. But what do? I do the best I can in everything I do. I do the best, and that's an affirmation. Do the best I can in everything I do. Do the best I can in everything I do. Do the best I can. Why? Because what I put out is what I get back. Golden rule, words, thoughts, and actions. Do the best I can in everything I do. Words, thoughts, and actions. Yeah, that's positive. Does it help me or does it helps me? When is it relevant? Always. What about school? Yeah. What about when I'm hanging out with my friends? Yep. What about when they're playing all those games and computer games? Stop. You can't do that all the time. I'll tell you why, because if you're looking for the elite experience, you're going to be, anyone who's listening to this and wants to be a professional footballer, the odds of you becoming a professional footballer are so slim and small. You have to do everything in your power to maximize focus on the things that help you. Do these games help you? If you're addicted to them and can't stop, they don't help you, because help or hinder. If you can't live without playing them, that's how you have to have football. Football must be like that. You are so obsessed by football that you can't live without it. That's like that breathing stuff we talk about. How much do you want this? As much as air. I want this as much as my air. So, if you're playing games, computer games, where that's all you want to do, well, then there's a challenge. There's a challenge. I want to play football, but I also want to play a lot of games. And I know a lot of kids who lose their lives in the games, and that's why we have people now withdrawing off games, because all they want to do is play games. And it's either playing football or games, and they don't do anything well. And then they wonder why they're inconsistent in school and then back on the paddock. And the only joy, the dopamine chemical hit they get, is in the games. And they're amazing in the games. But that's not the reality. That's not going to help them bounce back on a football field. How you're going to bounce back on a football field, that when you got a bad mark in an exam, that you go, this is the very thing that needed to happen for me now to take control of what I'm going to do in this next exam. It's all connected. So the athletes I've worked with, Olympic athletes that I've worked with, then go on and do really well at school. They go really well in other activities. They become better friends, better students. They're better sons and daughters. They become better people, because better people means that they're practicing themselves in everything that they're doing. Every day they're working on themselves. Not just in the 12 hours of practice and training when they see you guys. They come to training like, woo-woo, ready to go, coach. They're there looking at you. You're not going, hey, what are you doing? They've done the preparation to get there with the right intent. They know how to mindfully be present. They know what the intent is and the attention required to be an elite athlete, because we educated them. And then they choose to do it without you saying, are you here? Where are you? So we're mollycoddling them. We're teaching them how to be there. We tell them, the reason you want to go there, this is what you have to do. So you want to go there? So it's their responsibility to do that. But then they do it everywhere. Before school, my son, my 12-year-old son, with the Dunbar Rovers or different teams that he's with, what does he say? Every day, do the best you can, everything you do. Why not you? It's every class that he goes to, he's presenting it. And then you see it on the football field too. He's doing the same thing. And he's going, great. I'll rest again.
You obviously work with a lot of Olympic athletes and the top level athletes, but how much does the way you approach things change, or your experience with different people change when they're not on that elite level? Like, you've got kids, and then you work with businesses. I'm sure there's successful businessmen, but even I'm sure there's guys in business who want to do better, just like the sportsmen who want to do better, and then kids. So how does it change, and how do you approach it differently?
Well, what doesn't change is that the best of myself doesn't change.
Yeah.
Willingness changes, intention changes, preparedness to do the work changes. So someone will say, my child's 7 years old, could you get something out of it? I've had 7-year-old prodigies that I've worked with in the tennis world. Does it change? Yes, of course, my message, I've got to do more woos, yeah, all that stuff. And they've got to be funny, and they've got to laugh more, and their attention spans are far less. So I've got to change the messaging. But really, do the best you can. The end game is this. Do the best you can in everything you do. That's a subset of words, thoughts, and actions. Always positive, no exceptions. It's a subset of that. The more you do that, the better you'll be, because what you put out is what you get back. I need to say that simply like that for different people in different forums. So when I'm talking to high-end business or surgeons and barristers I've worked with, my message is more sophisticated, intellectually inclined for that person. For a kid, it'll be more wooey, worry, physical. We'll be throwing balls. So when a coach says, I am like this all of the time, I'm going, well, that's not going to work, is it? Because your audience is different.
Yeah.
So I've got to be more animated. Why am I choosing to be more animated now? Because I want to show that this is my energy. I get excited about what I speak about because it's relevant to everything everyone does. Every listener and us, me, in some way needs to do this daily. I need daily to present something. And I know my energy after 5,000 aerobic classes, 5,000, woo! I know that's who I am. Who am I? I'm a person who chooses to be energetic and choose to be positive in everything I do. I've created that with a message, with a simple message of do the best I can in everything I do. But then keep checking. So the boys I work out, the younger ones, I'm constantly modifying the message by watching carefully. Don't have a planned message and don't look. See, I'm looking at you guys a lot. And I'm looking at, are they kind of here or not? What's happening here? See, like we look at our teams. Are they kind of here or not? Or you so focused on your board. Oh, the answers are here. No, the answers are there. The answers are there. There. It's head and heart. Appeal to their head. Appeal to their hearts. Show them pictures. Show them greatness. Show them everyone. They look at Messi. They look at Ronaldo. They look at greatness. Where do they? And break it down. Oh, by the way, you know how much juggling that they do a day? Break it down. Go, hey, how much did you do today? Oh, okay, let's lift that tomorrow. What are you up to? You up to 50 straight? Oh, show me. Play games all the time. So with my kids, I'm playing more games. With the 16 to 19-year-olds, the message is, it's a little more sophisticated, longer sentences, but still lots of, matey friendly stuff, real, what's the word, a friendship related, that you're limitless. I understand you're doing some good things. Can I help you with this? Very respectful, not hierarchical. A lot of coaches are hierarchical. They don't understand that they've got to get down in the trenches with them. And then obviously the message is vastly different between the audiences. And in business, my audiences vary tremendously. I have businesses, I work in multi-million-dollar businesses, that the guy is like an elite athlete, played at a top level in a sport, thinks like that, has a life like that, wakes up at 5:30 in the morning, goes for a 15, 20-kilometre run, does weights every day, stretches every day, eats the exact perfect food every day, has a great demeanour, travels, balanced, father. I've got lots of clients that are like that, and they've got other who's trying to chase them, who can't even get close. So you've got to deal with the people and deal with the environment as it presents itself. It can't be one message fits all, but the one message that does fit all are the 3 principles, golden rule, a boomerang effect, help or hinder, and do the best you can in everything you do, 24/7, 365, 168. Woo!
Yeah, with that, one thing that seems consistent, and I'm very much like it, and probably get like you, is energy. So when we speak to our coaches and speak to people that we're around, I love high energy. To the point where I'd probably end up
too much
rushing
rushing,
or my message might come across.
That's where the World Cup is, rushing.
It is exactly there.
Rushing.
So how can you possibly help that?
I'm sure it's still recording.
We're still going?
You're still going, I think. Good.
Yeah.
Have you got any tips?
Yes.
Because I think yourself, you might get almost caught up in what you're doing.
Yes.
That passionate.
Yes.
You want that much energy.
Yes.
That you might get lost in your message that you're delivering.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. So this thing, what we're talking about is developing your observer self. Observer self. So what you're asking is, okay, I want a lot of this to be appropriate, but I need to be my observer self. Just checking, just check. And I go, woo! Sometimes I do it just for the hell of it. Sometimes I want to do it because I want to create that. I want to get that brace thing. Like, you want to get that energy going. Then you do the opposite. You chill it. You chill it. You chill it out and you get lower and lower. Because then you're like, is there something wrong? You play with energy by modulating well. And that's how you engage people. You can't say, if I came out here and yelled the whole time, the will wouldn't mean anything. You do the, woo! And then you take it back down and you stay present
and you don't go on with the woo, but you do. It's like in a field. You've got to be on. You've got to be on. Sometimes long ball, short, aware, behind. You know, you're constantly looking. You've got to create an energy that's appropriate for what you want to do. Yep. So we are the ones that is manipulating, controlling, devising, systematically projecting an energy that's appropriate. How will I know that if I don't have a thought about that through my observer self? Yep. Observe what you want. Make a decision in your preparation. How do I want to deliver this? Like today, for example, I asked myself, you know, I asked you a few questions before we started. I saw your brief. I thought about it a bit. And then I thought you just said, oh, well, just let's go with it and see what happens. Now, I can't the whole time scream and I can't the whole time belt it out. I do need to breathe. I'll breathe in between and I'll slow it down. And I got to think about the variety of bits of energy that are appropriate for the circumstances. An athlete needs to know when they need to hit and when to stay there. They need that frenetic energy near the goal. Come on, you've got to get in because it's the one who just gets it out. Just gets it out. You can't stay cool and composed and not. You got to want it. Like Tim Cahill's thing. Not that he's been on, but his thing is just being there. Being the appropriate energy at the appropriate moment. That takes time to consider. Yep. And we, as educators, need to consider what the appropriate thing for the appropriate moment is through deep reflection and deep introspection. You've got to think about it, you've got to consider it, and then you've got to assess it. Then you have a colleague going, what do you think the feedback was like? Yep. What do you think that would be like? How do you think that was taken? Now I've been doing it for 30 years. I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feedback. Yeah. And now I know that my selling point is, woo! And stay down. It's the up and the down, and then be honest, but don't worry what people think. I can't worry what you think, because I can't worry about that. I've got to just project what feels comfortable and watch. And it's been proven through feedback that doesn't matter what happens in my feedback. If I've got 200 people, I will have people who love me so much, and I'll have 5 people or 3 people who hate me, and they'll go, this guy's absolutely S-H-E-H-O-T, anyway, house. S-house. Yet I'll have some of the best things since sliced bread. So in other words, you can't please everyone all the time. Yeah. So don't worry that everyone's not on the exact same pinpoint, because you don't know what's happened in their lives. Yeah. You don't know whether what dad or mum were doing the night before, or there was something that there's a problem at home. Just what you need to know is what will attract them enough that they'll want to model you. Yep. So the question that we need to ask ourselves as coaches, what will be the best me in these circumstances at this very moment? I see so many coaches come in, and they'll come in of all different sports, and it's the same thing every time, and they're wondering, hey boys, you're not really there today. Well, you don't look like you're there either, coachy coach. What do you want? What do you want of them? So whatever you want, show them.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I think we, as coaches, it's very easy to look at a session and go, that session didn't go well. So you look at why it didn't go well, and you generally look at them and you go, well,
they're
actually he didn't do that, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do that, and you constantly, as opposed to me, I tried to go, if that didn't go well, it was probably me. That's what I tried to do. I tried to go,
full responsibility.
It was probably me. What could I have done to, if there was a certain player that didn't perform, I tried to look at, what could I have done that would have made him perform better? And I tried to look at, can I have made that better, as opposed to just keep going, because you can easily just go, they've done that wrong again. Yeah. This is the same drill I've done again, and we're still getting it wrong. So for me, well, if you're still getting it wrong, well, they're still getting it wrong. Yeah. You must be not doing it right. I did it the other night. 20 minutes suspended on something, didn't get it, and I'm like, right, let's stop. Go get a drink, and I'm like, I must be not delivering this correctly. I thought I was, but I'm not. Yeah. Started again, did the same thing with the energy. Calmed down. I had a chat with them.
Good.
I made it relax.
That's great.
And then it was, oh, they've got it now. They've got it all.
Yeah. Did they get it?
They got it. You could argue that 30 minutes was wasted. I think that's coaches go, I've got to keep going now because I've just spent 30 minutes on it, so I've got to keep going. And it was a point of, no, I'm just almost scrapping that 30 minutes. You've not got it, but it was self-reflection, and that's where you put the self-observe.
Yeah, self-reflection.
Get that energy across.
And that needs to be done before the session,
Yep.
not just in, because, you know, as a karate instructor and as an instructor of fitness for my life, you do all of the preparation well before. I know we do that technically and tactically and strategically. We build everything ready, cones are ready, everything's ready, and we're going from here to here, and it's great transitions. But no, what's definitely not trained is the messaging. The messaging is not trained. What are you actually going to say to get the result?
Yeah.
So always technical. So there's a technical requirement to explain it. Instructional, technical, instructional, inspirational. Always. What am I going to say in this good? Now, what's the three most important things I need to say about this? But before you get inspirational, what you guys remember is this. Next, what you guys need to remember is this. In each section, it needs to be coached well.
Yeah.
And that is a good reflective exercise. And in your preparation of all your sheets, go in and put your notes down.
Yeah.
This, I need that technically, and that's what I need to go instructionally.
Yeah.
And this is what I need inspirationally. It's always got to be inspiration, not you want them to be jumping out of the skins, but you're not jumping out of the skins. It's like, I'm at the edge of my seat. Why? Because I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited right now.
Yeah.
So if I'm excited, do you think they're going to be excited? My clients watch this.
Yeah.
And then it's a show. It's a show of we're playing this role, and it's called I'm an ex-athlete and you're a present athlete. So what are you going to do? And they go, I feel like playing now. So when I talk to coaches, an ex-Australian player in rugby who now is a coach of an elite GPS school, he's like, I want to get out there now. Why? Of course, because he used to play. And the question always is, imagine if I could have strung together 5,000, say in our sport now that we're talking, 5,400 seconds of this.
Yeah.
And you represented the country, and you represented a Super 15 team. Imagine what you could have done. It's like, woo! Scary. That's because they know. And the more elite they are, the more they know. So my longest conversation with any elite athlete was Dave Warner. When we started together, it was 3.5, 4 hours. Boom, 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 boom. Why? Because he knows. That doesn't mean he's a perfect human being. He messes up. It's happened. But what's important is that he understands what's required in the breath. All the philosophical stuff and all the other stuff around the situation is there's a multitude of other issues in everything. So I'm non-judgmental in anything. But I do know one thing. When someone's great, they understand how to deliver something appropriately under different and difficult circumstances. That's what we need to teach them. Not just those trite words, energy, confidence, player. Oh, there's even continuity here. We're even talking about what we started about 4 hours ago.
That's funny. The way you delivered that, there's a friend of ours called Ronelle Hobson who's a sprint coach.
Yep. Really,
really good. But I remember she assessed a few athletes I had, and pretty much they were weak. Didn't have very good run mechanics. They were slow, and she's not slaughtered them. She just basically told them everything they had to improve upon.
Yep.
And the four of them were decent athletes, and they just kind of looked downbeat and whatever. And she just gone, "Isn't it exciting?
Yes.
You had all these things. I've just told you how to improve them." And you see them looking at each other like, "Oh, is this exciting? I thought this was bad news."
Yeah.
This is great news.
Yes.
You can now improve. You didn't know how to do it. Look how much better you can be now.
Yes, yes.
And they were like, they left the session from being so down, like, oh,
Yes.
I thought I was good running. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, right, I can get better.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
was one of the, I was like, that is so.
Love it.
That was brilliant. She's one of the best at that as well, so she's really good. But that just reminded me of that when you're talking about the highs and then the lows and inspiration.
And it comes from the passion that
Yeah,
she
yeah.
has for it as well, doesn't it? We speak about that.
One of the greatest things I'm noticing in the evolution of athletes now, and these different generations that I've been exposed to, which I've celebrated in the opportunities, is that their resilience, their enthusiasm and passion, how fleeting it can be. Fleeting. So we as coaches need to understand these generations better. This generation of because everything's just so, everything's perfect, everything's said to them in the right way. So there's a brittleness.
Yeah.
There's the opposite to mental toughness.
Yeah.
We need to help them become tougher, because intrinsically, I told you, the program's limitless.
Yeah.
I assume everyone I meet's limitless. everyone listening, anyone knowing, all of our friends, I assume they're all limitless. But what gets in our way is that the personalities that we're developed doesn't cope with kind of criticism well, because our parents now are trying to say everything so positively. Oh, you're so positive, you're so fantastic, and you get smashed. Smashed. And everyone's so positive. Oh, positive. Oh, that's negative, like this coach you're talking about. No, that's the reality. The reality is you need to develop your first touch on your left leg. You mean I'm not good? No, I didn't say you weren't good. That's not positive. That's the reality.
Yeah.
And when you start reality basing kids, varies on the fragility of their personalities. You need to know how fragile they are before you could say what you want to say. You say that to the wrong person, what you said, they're out of here. Because they're not used to... Because when they play their games, they're always winners. Life is all about winning. And we know absolutely, definitively, categorically now, it's the bounce back and the bounce forward that shows who's going to succeed. Much loss, much struggle, many obstacles, many impediments dealt with better are the ones that will get ahead. We need to train our kids to do that. It's not in the mainstream positivity language. It means positive. So when you say that, they fall straight away down and they go, as you said with the example, they go, oh, well, I'm not good. What? You're really good until the lady got here. Now you're not good. You're here in this session because you are good and we want you to get better.
Yeah, exactly.
But now suddenly you're lacking belief. Oh, there it goes again. Because someone said one thing. One thing and bang. It's, a house of cards. We need to know how to deal with this as coaches. Yeah. Because I'm dealing with these people all the time. And I'm noticing all these different levels of awareness and perceptions. And these kids are a result of a perception of the adults. And these adults who are saying these things, sociologically, are presenting the same message for the same reasons. And the same reasons are because they never heard it. Their parents were so negative and they never gave them a chance. Now they're telling their kids, oh, you can do anything. You can do anything. They don't tell them how they're going to do it. They just, you can do anything. You can do anything. I'll drive you anywhere. I'll drive you across the world. It doesn't matter that it's my 16th mortgage. I'll get you to that 5th division team in England so you have a trial on the bench. You'll sit there, but I'll get you there because I want to have given you everything. But you didn't give him how.
Yeah.
No how. Just you can do it.
Say, I gave you the opportunity.
I gave you everything, and I'm the most positive anyone could be, but you're still messing up, and everyone's wrong. They're all wrong. Don't listen to her, him, them. No one except me. You're fantastic. Really, you're fantastic. So I've got to, with some parents, reality base them. Your kid's a superstar, you think. No. Bad, not so good. First touch. The ball goes 3 meters away. That isn't good. The kid's 13. And they shouldn't be doing that. Kids 8 can do that better. Really? Well, what's wrong with you? Well, what kind of coaching did you get? So there are some facts. We need facts. But I can't burst their bubbles.
Yeah.
Bing. I don't want to be the naysayer, but people think Mr. Positivity is Mr. Positivity also. So, in other words, I'm going to say exactly what you want me to say. Bullshit. I can't, because I'm not professionally giving you the tools to actually become the limitless best, which you inherently and innately are, but you're messing them up with your thinking. It's faulty thinking. That's all it is. It's faulty thinking. It's not that the person isn't able. Every kid can improve by quantum leaps if they have the right people around them. You could put a number of the kids going through the programs you guys are associated with and take them to any forum in the world, and they could become brilliant full-time professionals. You know at least a dozen or half a dozen of kids. You put them anywhere and they could become that thing, right? It's just the environment And Australia is now finding its place in world football. The environment doesn't know what to do with these kids. We just keep propping them up and pumping their tyres up, They need a bit of reality basing, but they need to know how to resiliently deal with the information by being open and positive to go, now I can grow. Thank you for the information. Now I know what to do. You told me what I need to do, as she told you what to do. Bang, 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 bang. Now, if you do that for 30 days at least, I know you'll improve. I know if you do visualization, affirmations, for 1 month, you will think differently of yourself. If you did it assiduously daily. I know, because I've been doing it forever. Anyone who wants to do it will grow like this. How much do you want to grow? Or do you want to just hear mummy and daddy tell you you're beautiful and you're fantastic? You're just so good. You're so good you don't need to think about your first touch. That 3 metres, you've got those 3 metres on a big field. It's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. People are so not telling the truth because they don't know the truth, but they all know the stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't talk to professionals. And we need to be equipped to deal with those difficult people and the ones who really do have the right intentions, but they just don't know.
Yeah.
We need to teach them and educate them. But we come to football programs where they have great coaching, but everything around them is not even considered. But what about the parents? How do you help them, help an athlete? Do you tell them to keep pumping the tyres up? Don't do that. I'm telling them the first touch is not good enough. Don't tell them it's good enough. Go out there, and I ask them to get every morning, wake up and spend 7 minutes to go off a wall and hit the ball off the wall and take it any part of their bodies. I said that to them. Are they doing it? The thing you can do is say, oh, I didn't notice that you did it. Every day and check in on it. Be accountable to development. We will give them the skeleton or the schemata of development. We'll tell you how to develop it. Don't tell us that we're doing it wrong or why are you in this program. Let us coach them. But at home, let them do what they need to do, practice. Because they need to do at least about half an hour by themselves if they're really serious a day. If they're serious. Or they would just want to turn up and just, first touch will just get a bit better over years. You don't have that time.
Well, great segue into social media. That's
I love it. Let me check mine. No, just bad joke.
So, social media, the reason I ask social media is because you speak about the environment, and obviously the environment is massive, and obviously if you can surround yourself with positive people, you're probably going to have a good environment, you're going to grow, you're going to challenge each other, etc, etc, etc. But sometimes people's environment is social media, and even I even know myself personally, when I came off Facebook, Instagram, all the rest of it, my perception of the world changes as well. When I was on Instagram, you're constantly comparing yourself with other people, and I don't see, as a help or hinder, for me that's a hinder. It might help some people, and there is help there, because again you can connect with some really great people out there and you can get some great knowledge from social media. Like we said, the best people share information, so you get that on the web, but you can delve far too deep into that, and it does hinder you. I think more than ever, kids are in that realm. They see all these different football players showing their highlight reels and think, I'm not there yet. They constantly put themselves down and comparing constantly. And of course there's also the aspect of comments, people getting love to be the keyboard gangsters and be critical of everything they see.
Oh, keyboard gangsters, I like that one. I wrote that one down. That's a good one. Yes.
I think it's what people compare themselves to as well, because they compare themselves to highlight reels.
Exactly.
So all people see is a highlight reel. So well, that's it. That's what I'm.
That becomes reality.
And if I can't be that highlight reel, then
I think there's many things that you've just spoken about there, but I think the starting point is the highlight reels is the result of all the hard work. So we need to encourage our clients or the athletes around us to get the video that says Messi's training regime, Ronaldo's, instead of just seeing the move, what does it take to get the move? Like I know in all the different things, like surfing's a big thing, to go to Uluwatu and get into a tube and a barrel of longer than 2 to 3 seconds is an art of many times getting it right and wrong. For me, doing a spinning kick, and how many thousands of times I did it, to actually do it once in a competition, no one sees that. So what we need to help them with is, there's a lot of available information, but really focus on what it took to get there. Because the move is the end game. And they go straight away, I can't do that. Of course you can't do it. It took them 1,000 times, you didn't see it. Duh.
That's what I always, we say about mistakes and kids making mistakes. So praise a mistake.
Yeah.
So because that means you tried to do something that you're now going to get better at the next time because you've just got it wrong. So if you didn't do that, you won't get it wrong. And I think that reflects to me playing is I always played safe and I did safe things and kicked the ball away, and I was praised for doing safe things as a footballer.
Yes.
But then it led me to a limit.
Yes.
So I think if we can praise players to keep making mistakes, and I say, who do you think made the most mistakes? Probably Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Probably have made
well,
more
Michael
mistakes.
Jordan says.
He just says
5,000
he's
shots
made more mistakes than anyone
29
to get it right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we need to keep, as you said, describing the process to get to those.
And that's two things. That's an additional thing, because you were just talking there about the social media and mistakes. Yes. But let's go back to the three principles. Words, thoughts, and actions always positive. What you put out is what you get back, and help and hinder. Mistakes help or hinder. We know mistakes help us as long as you're going to learn. Social media, when you're immersed in it or engrossed in it, it becomes detrimental to self. Help or hinder. Hinder. So if it hinders me, so a little bit's important, because as a professional, we need a little bit of social media.
Yeah.
But to you, for comparing yourself and going, you are bad, any kid that's saying that, help or hinder? Hinder.
Yeah.
So we've got to give them systems instead of looking at these big topics. The boomerang effect, the reason it's successful, the three things, you can look at anything like that. Am I being positive? What am I projecting? What am I, like defeatism, mistake, defeated. What boomerang you put in? You defeat it. How are you going to get out and do it? Does it help or does it end? What does help me? Something positive. What helps me? Learning.
Yeah.
Seeing this as an opportunity. That the mistake is the very thing I needed to do to become better. Social media. What am I learning? That if I do it too much, I hurt myself. I hurt myself because my perception of me is getting built on something frail. I want to get out there on the paddock and go boom, 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 boom. If I'm boom, boom, booming and I'm looking at this going, oh, I'm awful, that hinders me. So it's the lenses with which you look at everything that we need to educate them about. Because the sport, why I loved working full-time in the NRL as the head mind coach, and I was appointed, as I said to you, by the head of the NRL right now, who was the head of Bulldogs before. The reason he put me in there, because he said, this is the next frontier. Why I like that is because we kept refining these principles for all the athletes all the time. We got them to keep reconsidering different angles on it and seeing it in different... And they all grew because there was a consistency. People think that the mind pops in and then the mind is a part-time thing. I got all the technical, now I'm going to get my thinking right. At this age, this is where they've got to make choices, discernment, help or hinder, help or hinder. Practicing this way, help or hinder. Eating that food, help or hinder. Anything and everything. Yelling at my mum just before I went in the power. Why didn't you get my boots? Help or hinder. Your responsibility. We need to educate them, because we are, and this is the beauty of what I got that opportunity to do full-time, travelling with the team 150 games, was that I helped them see that this was a vessel, this sport, through which they can see all of their lives. You have the wonderful opportunity through a sport to show that all of your life will be something like your sport. You're opening their eyes up to that. How everything that you do, when you critically commit to a tackle, you have 9 times out of more, you have a better chance of getting there and optimizing your chances than you going half-assed. Correct or not?
Yeah.
You're teaching that whatever you do in life, whatever you do, that's going to take a commitment, a dedication, a trust and a faith, a positive energy in yourself. So we now are showing them life through a sport of preparation, mind, body, emotion, spirit, and right group that will enable them for the rest of their lives to be who they need to be. Whether they're here 2 minutes or whether they're here for the rest of their careers, we are the vessel through which they will become more of themselves. I'm sounding a bit philosophical, but that's how I see sport.
Yep.
That it's a channel, that it's an opener, whether it be social media, whether it be mistakes. All of these mistakes they're going to be looking at to their final day. All of this stuff, computers are going to go more and more in our lives. We need to train them like any other new thing in your life, whether it be the first television or whether it be telephone or a car or now spaceships, to deal with that better.
That's our responsibility as educators, I feel.
Brilliant. Spot on. We're going about an hour and a half. Just what
have we? Wow! Jeez! People to see.
There's
lunches to have.
There's a couple of things just want to finish on. One would be, I'm interested in to know what sort of like habits, routines sort of you have on a daily basis.
Yep.
Me and Leon are quite big on like daily routines and building habits and building habits with our players. I think it's really beneficial long term.
Okay.
And again, talking about successful people we know and we've met, they seem to have good habits. And a consistent, that builds that consistency day to day. Is there anything you do on a day to day basis, or you recommend people do on a routine basis to have a big effect?
Look, I've got dozens and dozens of things to say about this, but I'll make it really simple so anyone listening to this just can have a walk away and go, oh, that's what I need to do. Oh, that's what I need. So the habit is to live the golden rule boomerang effect and help a hinder. So daily I do that. Then daily I would have a journal, which I've written 250,000 words of a journal. So I'll have my journals packed up here and I'll just write, and I'll write about the day and I'll note it, where I am, things that are important, I'll reflect. I did this every day for 16 years. Now I haven't got the time, but I can't wait to get there and reflect on the last 2 weeks. So I check that I'm being me, these consistent things, every day for 16 years this way, journaling. If someone's never journaled, write 3 good points that you did today. Simple, good starting point. Okay, but let me do a general overview, macro helicopter view. In the morning, the first thing you do, project. I want to be a professional footballer. See it? I know to get there, I've got to do a lot of things. Boy, I need to work hard. If it was a dream for someone, you've got to project on big picture. I'm thinking the best athletes I've ever researched, they know where they want to be, NBA, NFL. They want to be there. They want to be in the NRL. They want to be somewhere. So you see that, you engage it. Then, all of the day, you are mindfully present. All day. And that means you have an intention and an attention to the best you can in everything you do. An intention and an attention to do the best you can in everything you do. And then, at the end of the day, you reflect. How well did I do that? And you check, oh, my intention, oh, I lost my stuff. When I was going in that roundabout, I lost my stuff, so I was emotionally in the wrong place. So I check and I write some notes after I've written my 3 good points. 3 good points, I need to work on this tomorrow. You go to sleep peacefully going, learn a lot today. And then I go to bed, I wake up in the morning and I project for the first 5 minutes. And then I project my big dream, and then everything in my day is going to be mindful presence. And then I check at the end of the day. So projection, mindful presence, and reflection. That's a simple one. Personally, I wake up and I meditate daily, and I calmly get into the now, because I've just been in a subconscious, unconscious place where I've downloaded what the universe wants me to do. So the download process is ended. So I sit quietly and I go through specific exercises of mind, and that takes 5 to 10 minutes. And sometimes that's hard because of kids and the rest of it, but I always find a time to find peace. And then I say what it is that I'd like to achieve today. Today I wanted clarity. Obviously I didn't achieve that, but clarity was the key word for today. Clarity, clarity, clarity. I downloaded that when I went to sleep. So the night before, clarity was the #1 thing for today. I wanted clarity. Woke up, clarity and peace. Emptied myself, totally connected myself. I have all these different things that I could go on and talk to you about. The geometrical meditations that I've developed, which will come out in a book. But really then it's peacefully being in the now throughout the whole day. And then when I need to, ready, get hold on to it. Woo! And show the energy. Show and bring the energy. Wherever I am, bring an energy. But also listen. Listen and be compassionate and empathetic. So I know, because I've been working on this forever, but I develop lots of these plans for different people, and I've listened to hundreds of versions. There's not one version, but experiment. Set your day up. Be mindfully engaged. Reflect on your day. Start it again. And never, ever, ever say, When someone asks you, how was your day? Same old, same old. Slap yourself in the face. Slap your bum. There is not, if you had a same old, you didn't project anything. You weren't mindfully present. And nor did you reflect on anything. Because if you reflected on it, you wouldn't do it the next day. Of same old, same old. There is nothing the same of anything. Because everything is changing in this very breath. Just like on a football field. Cool?
Brilliant. Absolutely spot on. One thing we always like to ask guests is resources, books, anything you like to recommend to people?
Hundreds.
Yeah, just I'm sure there is, mate. I'm sure there is. We're big readers, so we like.
Okay.
So anything you can recommend people take away from things that you've learned.
For the more learned who want to read a psychological text,
doesn't even have to be psychological.
No, I want to give one, and then I'll give some other versions, just a few.
Yeah.
First, Learned Optimism.
Right.
Martin Seligman's work, who's the second father of positive psychology. I read his book in 1991 and I commenced my comeback at 33 based on his work.
Brilliant.
So, Learned Optimism is a brilliant one. He compares some NCAA teams, particularly the language of the coaches that was public.
Yep.
Fantastic. You could do that work right here, right now. Then, 1991 was also a formative year for me because I was giving my first so-called spirit text. I was doing some travelling around Australia as a guest lecturer in the fitness world, and someone gave me this book called Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, an ex-Olympic gymnast, started me thinking about the now. And really, really blew my mind of getting a mentor and what does it mean to be present at the expense of everything else, and being distraction free in every moment. I really got into that. So I pursued that for 5 years relentlessly before I got into Buddhism. And when I got into Buddhism, I started to read Rinpoche's works, and Rinpoche's works said to me one of the most important things of my evolution of this stuff over these years was that put all the books down, get what you like, write it all down and live it, be accountable to it, and just do it day in and day out and then tweak it. So those two really were important. So three. So those three, the Dan Millman, the Rinpoche, and also Seligman. But then also mainstream, 11 Rings by Phil Jackson. Loved it. Sacred 11 Rings and Sacred Hoops by Phil Jackson.
Yep.
And his mentor, Mumford. Mumford's works are brilliant. He's the mindfulness guy. Love him to death. And then more recently, Eckhart Tolle's In the Now. I like his stuff too. I could go on and on, but that's the start.
No, brilliant.
How's it sound?
Spot on, right? Absolutely excellent. What I would like to ask just before we wrap up is there any coincidence you won a Chicago Bulls hat?
Is that Scottish accent?
Chicago Bulls hat. You're on Chicago Bulls hat.
Yes,
and
yes.
You mentioned a lot of NBA coaches.
Yes, him.
Chicago Bulls obviously massively successful in the
Yes.
90s, big on their mindset sort of thing. Is there anything in connotation there, or is it just by chance you've got that hat?
No, it's definitely that hat. And I do like hats,
Yeah.
and I am going bald. so that's the truth. But I love what Michael Jordan did.
Yeah.
I love what Phil Jackson. I love the story behind dealing with great athletes. The coach's experience of Phil Jackson, brilliant. If any coach wants to develop, yes, I will do all the great coaches, the global football coaches. But if you really want to know how to work with people, I think Phil Jackson. And then you really want to understand what a superstar mindset is, look into Jordan. And look at how, and I'm not saying that is the way. Yes. I'm just saying it's a way that worked.
For him, yeah.
It was brilliant, but how determined and the conviction with the training and the work, that backyard stuff with his brother and just going and hitting. I can relate to that because my brother was a fighter and he helped me become, a national kickboxing champion because it was war. We got in the ring, it was war. I could relate to the war of Jordan and his big brother. So yeah, I love a lot about the Bulls. I don't mind bull too. Sometimes I like a bit of bull. Bull! Bit of bull with this guy. But I'm honest sometimes too.
Nah, brilliant, mate. We'll wrap it up there, mate, because it's been probably a lot longer than I'm sure you've got a busy day.
Yeah.
But first of all, thank you, mate, for giving the time. You probably gave us more knowledge there, and you probably charge a lot of people for that.
Nah.
So the man we've got absolute knowledge gold. I'm sure we could have done this for another few hours.
Easy.
Easy.
I was ready.
I was ready for at least... No. Let's joke.
Is that what you put in your bag?
Sleeping bag.
Yes. Yep.
Mate, look, thanks very much. What I would like is for you just tell everyone listening, if people wanted to learn more about you. I know you mentioned some books you may have coming out in the future. Yeah. Anyone, how they can get a hold of you or learn more about you, or any information you've got?
So LinkedIn.
Yep.
So John Novak LinkedIn. They've got Twitter, Boomerang Effect, B_Boomerang Effect. Websites, Boomerang Effect, and John Novak Sport. Just keep those in mind. The websites. Other than that, is I do believe in the innate brilliance of every human being, and I know that if great people come together and really want to be open to each other's magic, they can do anything. An individual can do anything. A group of people can do anything. But there needs to be suspending of judgment and a wild faith in something within them and around them. And that we own that this second. All the perceptions and all those things that we go through of lacking belief and trust and all that stuff, to me that's all folly, and that's all unnecessary. That's all stuff that just gets in your way of your limitless best. So that's why I get excited to talk to you guys. I get excited working with all my athletes. And it doesn't matter how old I am. I know to my final day, here it comes, I'll be woo! Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you.
Top man.
Awesome.
Legend.
Be sure to subscribe to the Changing the Game podcast so you don't miss out. In the meantime, head to johnnovaksport.com, link in the description below, to learn more about John and the Boomerang Effect. See you all next time.